Yes, recursion is the process of calling the function by itself. That is called as a recursion. Okay, so for solving some problems, actually it might, in that problem, for solving the problem, actually the same problem we can solve by using that problem itself. So it means that to get the next, or to get the next solution, we require the same problem to be occurred. Just like factorial, to calculate the 5 factorial, we require the 4 factorial. To calculate 4 factorial, we require to calculate 3 factorial. So if the same process are repeating in your statement, program statement, then we, instead of using the simple logic, we can use the recursion, and using the recursion, actually your problem solving become easier. But the drawback of recursion is actually it uses the stack memory, and if you are not providing the end value or the end condition to your recursion, then your recursion might go in a infinite. So if that first condition in your recursion, if n equal to 1, return 1, if you are not giving this condition, then it will go calling the same fact function again and again and again and again until there is a RAM memory or the stack memory is available. In case of your stack is no more, your program get failed there. So always remember that the disadvantage of your recursion. While writing in a recursion problem, you first know that what is the end of my recursion. Define the end first. Then after that, go for your formula. Okay, so that problems from Geeks for Geeks website, have you solved that?
Yes, sir. Yesterday I solved. I got some doubts, sir.
Yes, a few questions we have doubt.
Yes. Yeah, you can show me.
Just a second, sir.
So second question, sir. In that second, 7th. Sir, if you open the link, it will be helpful, sir.
Okay. So Geeks for Geeks.
It's the fifth question.
Yeah, fifth question. Just 1 minute. I'm opening that link.
Yes, sir.
Programming. Yes. Which one?
Second question, sir.
Second and fifth.
Yeah. This one?
Yes, sir.
Int fun, int x, int y, if x equal to, yeah, it is, end is given here, return y. So if x is 0, then you have to return y. Otherwise, you have to call fun of x minus y, comma, x plus y. Okay. So, and you are calling the function as 4, 3. So x is 4, y is 3. So tell me, when you are calling fun of 4, 3, the condition is false, so it will return this statement.
Yes,
Fun of what is this? X minus 1 means 3,
7.
3, 7. Okay, so that is your first function to be called. Okay, 3, 7. Just remember it, 3, 7.
Yes, sir.
Then after that, again x is 3, y is 7.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now again condition is false, so it becomes 2,
5.
10. 2, 10.
No, sir. 2, 5. Sir. 3 plus 2, 5.
So what is x?
Previously, x is 3, sir.
X is
3,
x minus 3. 3, 7, y is 7.
Yes, sir. Y is 7, x is 3.
X is 3.
Next, it becomes 2 and 5, sir.
Yes, sir. 2 and 5.
So
3 minus 1.
y,
Minus,
x
Sir,
is 3 na? And y
Yes.
is
7.
7. Okay.
Seven.
So what is x minus y?
2.
And what is x plus y?
5.
Wow, how it is 5? 7 plus 3. What is x? 3. Y 7. So what is x
Okay,
plus y?
10, 10. Yeah, 10, 10.
Yes, sir.
It is 10.
Ah,
Okay,
yes, sir.
next time it is 2 and it is 10. Okay. Now when it is 2 and 10, again the x minus 1 is 1 and 12.
12.
1 of 12. Okay. Again it get called and it is 1 and 12. So again
0
condition
and-
false. It is 0
And 12.
and 13.
13. Yeah.
0, 13. Again 0, 13. So return y.
Y.
Return y means 13 get
13.
returned.
13 gets returned.
Okay, 13 get returns to whom? This
Fun,
one.
fun
To
of
the previous
0,
fun of
13.
13. Okay. So
Yes,
that
sir.
same 13 is written here because whatever the result of 1 comma 12, it is 13.
Yes, sir. Yes,
It
sir.
is the last result. It is the last result. The 13 is written to here. The same value, that is this. The result of this statement is 13. So again it is written to here. Again the result of this is 13. So again it will return to 3,
3, comma
7. So 13.
Return.
The last answer is 13.
Yeah, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir, got it.
Is it
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir, 13 is the answer.
Sorry. Yeah, 13. Now next, which one?
Fifth,
Fifth one,
sir.
sir.
Fifth one.
Yes, sir.
Fifth one. Okay. So
fourth
1
one also,
and
sir.
2. Okay. So what does the fun2 do in a general? Okay. So we need to determine the formula here. Okay. What is the formula? This type of question comes in your GATE examination. Okay. We need to determine the formula. So your fun. Okay. Here fun2 is calling fun. And in the fun we are calling fun2.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what the fun2 is doing? So when you call first fun2 function a comma b, so if b equal to 0, yeah, return 1. But what happened here? Fun of it call the fun function. All fun functions about a comma fun2 of a comma b minus 1. Okay. Now what is fun2 of a of b minus 1? So take an example of any program.
We can take random variables, na, so
Random
A as 5 and B as 4.
Do not take so much big one. Only 2 and 3. We will take 2 and 3.
Okay,
A
sir.
is 2 and B is 3. So it is 2 and it is 3. So first will the function becomes fun of 2 comma. Now again it will call it fun2 of a comma b minus 1. Again the function get called. But in that function actually a is 2 and b minus 1, that is it is 3. So next time the fun2 call with the argument 2 comma 2. Again b is not equal to 0. So again there is a function call. It will call as a 2 comma. Now this is the fun function. This fun. The fun function is not called until it is called. So I'm writing here. So very first here I'm writing. First function is fun of 2 comma, and what is the argument we need to determine here? What is the argument we need to determine? Suppose I'm writing here dash dash. Okay, this is the first function call. Second fun function calling as a fun of now 2 comma 2. Fun of now fun2 is called again, so it is 2 comma 2, but in that function you are calling again fun function, but we know the second argument, we don't know the second argument of that function. So again the fun2 get called, so we don't know what is this. So it is called again 2, 1. The fun2 is called next time as a 2, 1. 2, 1. Then again the fun1 is called. Fun1 is called third time here. Fun is called third time 2, 1. We don't know that what is the second one. Now again b is 1. B is 0 now, because 2, 0 will be get called and return 1. So it is return 1. So it is return to 1 here. Return to 1 here. Okay. So first fun1 function called as of 2, 1. First function called as a 2, 1. So call that fun function, because this is the latest function to be called. Fun of 2, 1 is x is 2, y is 1. So it returns x plus, so 2 plus fun of, it is 2 plus fun of, it is 2, 0. 2, 0. So 2, 0, again the y is 0, return 0, so it is 0. So it is 0. So it is returning a 2 plus 0, that is 2. So 2 raised to 1. I think 2 raised to 1. 2 raised to 1. Next one is the, now this 2 will be written here. 2 will be written here. So fun 2, 2. So I think it is 2 plus fun of 1. So again it is fun of 2, 2 plus 1, 2 plus 2. Okay, so it is 2 plus, and it is 2 plus and fun of 2, y minus 1, that is your 1. It get called again. So it is 2, 1. 2, 1, I know it is, the result is 2. So 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So it is 4. The result is 4. Okay. Next one is 2 plus 2 plus 4. So it is 6. The result is 6. And but it returns to whom? So the answer is 6, I think. If you are giving the answer as 2, 3, it answer is 6. So 2 plus 2 into 3, 6. So I think this is A is the correct answer. Just need to check it. Is it correct or not? Wrong. It is x raised to y.
It's x raised to y, sir.
X raised to y. The multiply x to himself. Actually, we have to draw the whole stack here.
Yes, sir.
And, yeah.
So we tried doing it, but then it's very confusing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will solve this. I will solve whole. I will draw the whole stack and I will give you on your WhatsApp group.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
So then,
Okay, sir.
okay, again, second.
This we got it, sir.
Next question, sir. This question, sir.
This one, sir. This one.
What does the following function do? Fun of unsigned int n, if n is 0 or n1, then return n. If n modulus 3 not equal to 0, then return 0. If it is divided by 3, it is not divided by 3.
Yes, sir.
If it is not divided by 3, then it is returning 0.
0. Else,
If it is returning, if it is divided by 3, then it returns that quotient. Okay.
Yeah.
So it quotient. So it returns what it returns.
fun of n by.
If n is a multiple of 3. No, it returns 1 if n is a multiple of 3, otherwise returns 0. n is a power, n is a multiple of 3, n is a power. I think this is the correct answer. Okay, return 1 if n is a power of 3.
Sir, actually, yesterday we solved this problem by taking a random variables number,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We took
We took
n as
5.
5.
Hmm?
We just took n as 5 and we solved that thing, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, we are not getting the second one as an answer. And when we check the explanation, they have taken a multiple of 3, like 27 or
27.
63, something like that.
Power of 3 actually they have taken.
Yeah, so we
Not
wanted to
multiple.
know how, sir, to figure it out when we
First
see
time
the
if condition is false, as n is neither 0, okay, then for $3, then if condition is false because it is equal to 0, then it will call second time the condition n is neither 0, then okay. So it always divided by 3, divide by 3.
Sir,
So
how will we get to know we should take multiple of 3 only? No, sir. We can take any random number. No, sir.
Yeah.
yeah, we can get the random number. Just give the example as a 21. 21. So if it is 21, then 21 modulus 3 not equal to 0. Okay, so this is false. So return fun of 21 divided by 3. It is 7. Okay,
Yes, sir.
it is 7. So again the fun of 7 will be called. Now 7 modulus 3 not equal to 0. 7 modulus 3 not equal
True,
to
sir.
0. Yeah,
True.
it is true. So return 0. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if it is multiple of 3, it is returning a 0. But in case of it is power, suppose take an example of same example 27. So 27, this is false, this is false. So 27 divided by 3. What is 27 divided by 3? It is 9.
9. Yes, sir.
So fun of 9 will be called. So again,
False.
first is false. Second 9 modulus 3 false.
Hmm.
Because perfectly divisible. Again fun of 9 divided by 3 is 3.
3. Again, it will go
Fun
to
of 3
the.
will be called. This is false. Again 3 modulus 3 false.
This is false.
Again fun of 3 divided by 3.
1.
1. So n is 1. So return n. So 1 will be written.
Okay, sir. So if it is the power,
So,
it returns
yeah,
1.
yeah. If it is power, then it returns 1. If it is
Multiple, it returns 0.
yeah, if it is multiple, it is returning 0. Or other than multiple, also it returns 0. So this function can be used to check that the given number is a power of the 3, power of 3.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
This one, has been comes in your GATE CS 2011.
So we got, sir, for this.
So this.
So just very simple actually. N
Yes, sir.
modulus r and foo of n. If one function is there, it is very easy to solve it.
So, and they have only given the integer values.
Yes, sir.
So
5.
when we solve it, we get the answer.
Yeah, they have given that value. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think 9 should be answer. I think. 8,
No, sir.
2?
Got
No,
2.
sir. Only 2.
Only
2
2.
only we got, sir.
Okay, 2.
Yes, sir.
Return n modulus r plus. So okay, yeah. Subsequent is a call except the last call. Okay. Actually, the same example. Actually, this the recursive example I have I appeared for the GATE 2018. So at that time, one recursive problem is there. That example takes 15 minutes to solve. There are multiple function call is there,
Yes, sir.
but my answer become false only because in a last 2 or 3 steps I make a hurry. That is, yeah, this is the I have not fully solved the whole problem. 8 steps I have solved. Last 2 problems, for solving the 2 last steps, I become a hurry. Okay, so that's why that answer will be I'm not getting the correct answer there.
Okay, sir. So that thing you solved and send us.
Only the
Yeah,
fifth one is little
Fifth
complicated.
one, yeah,
sir.
fifth one I will send you. Okay, whole stack I need to draw there.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we should start with the new topic.
Yeah, sir.
The new topic is the data storage classes in C language. Storage classes. It is just a half an hour I require to complete the storage classes. Okay, so it is theoretical topics, but it is very important one. So storage classes means if you create a variable in your C language, in a C program, then where is the storage of that variable? Generally, every variable gets stored into the RAM memory itself, because we already discussed that there are two kinds of memory: RAM memory, non-volatile memory, volatile type of the memory, and your secondary memory is your hard disk memory, that is your non-volatile type of the memory. And whenever you double click on your exe file, your exe will be bring to your RAM memory, and your operating system will assign some memory, assign some part of your memory of that RAM memory to your application, and that memory has been divided into the 4 parts. Can you revise it? What are the names that I have given to that memory that your application has assigned?
Code memory.
Yeah, first one is your code memory, which contains the code of actual code of your program, that is your code memory. Second one, data memory. Second one is data memory. What the data memory contains? The data memory
Global and static variables.
global variables and the static variable. Okay, the static class we are going to see today. Okay, the third one, and data memory is also called as a shared memory, because it is a global memory. Okay, any function can access that global memory. Okay, the third type of memory is known as a
Stack.
where all the function call and the local variables are created. All the function call will be done on your stack memory, as well as all the variables created on in your function get created in your stack memory. And the fourth type of memory is the
Heap.
heap type of memory. Heap type of memory is
Malloc
contains the
and calloc.
heap type of memory contains the dynamically allocated variable by using the malloc and calloc. Okay, so out of that we are going to see the 3 storage classes today. 3 memory we are going to see. The fourth one I will explain afterwards when you complete the array. Okay, so in C language actually there are the 4 storage classes. Very first one is your storage class is the automatic storage class. Automatic storage. Now automatic storage means this, if your variable is automatically created, then the automatically created when the function get called, then that type of variable is called as a automatic storage class variable. Just like if suppose there is a function is there, display function, in that display function you created one variable in t, so that t will be created only when you call that function. So you can say that t will be created automatically when the function get called. So that's why that class of that variable is called as a automatic storage. The second one is the register storage class. Register storage. Now register storage class is nothing but if you create the variable with the keyword register. And how to create, actually I will tell you the example. But if you create the variable with a register keyword, then the storage class of that register is this register storage class, and the storage of that variable is nothing, it is not a stack memory, it is a CPU register. It is a CPU register. What is CPU register? We are again going to see. The third type is known as a static storage class. So if you create a variable with the keyword static, then the variable gets stored into your data memory. And what happens when you are storing your memory, if you are storing your variable in your data memory, we are going to see. Okay. And the fourth storage class is known as external or the global storage class. External or the global storage class. Okay, so we'll see external means if you are declaring your variable outside your main function, it is called the external variable or the global variable. Okay, so we'll see one by one. So very first one is your automatic storage class. Now first we will see how to create automatic storage class, automatic variables. Very simple. If to create automatic variable, just you need to create that variable inside any function. If you create a variable inside any function, then the storage class of that variable is automatic. Getting? So in int main, A is created, then the storage class of A is an automatic storage class. Okay, getting? If you are creating the variable inside the function, then it's called as an automatic storage. Now writing the auto in front of that variable is not mandatory, but you explicitly you can write it. If you're not writing the auto, then it is also the automatic, but explicitly you can mention that now int A is automatic storage. Int A is automatic storage. And if you are printing this A, comma A, okay, so you will get that value A is equal to 10. Okay, now first we will see what is the storage. Tell me, where if you have created your automatic variable, what is the storage of this variable? Generally it is RAM memory, but in that RAM we have divided RAM into 4 parts. So what is the storage of that A? Can you tell? Yeah, it is stack memory. Just write down here stack memory, because it is created into the function. Okay, so it is known as, okay. Second one is the default initial value. So what is the default initial value? If you are not assigning it, then what is the default initial value?
Garbage value.
Control B, we will going to check here. What is this value? We have not initialized, but still it is there. So it is garbage value. So it is a garbage value. And we know that what is a garbage value? It is any unpredictable value. Any unpredictable, we cannot predict. When you rerun this program, this value is different. Okay. So default initial value is the garbage value. The next is the scope. What is the scope of that variable? Now scope of the variable is nothing but, suppose if there is a display function is there is another display function is there. Void display. So can I use this A here? Can I use the print A? Can I use access this A here? If I'm trying to access here, it will give error.
Because
it will give error. Use of undeclared identifier A. So what is scope? Scope is nothing but it is local to the block. This is the block. Okay. It is local to the block in which that variable is defined. Okay. So write down scope. It is, or simply local to the block in which variable is declared. Okay, so it is local to the block. So it means that that same variable you cannot access outside that particular block. You cannot access. Getting? Okay, so instead of that, we can give the local block here again. Okay, we can give the local block. Suppose here I am creating one automatic variable here, x is equal to 5. Okay, and if I'm trying to access here A as well as X. Okay, can you tell me, is it possible now?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible here?
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes.
If I run this program, then there is an error. X is undeclared. X is already declared, but the error is X is undeclared. Why? Because this X is local to this block only.
this block, okay.
It means that this X you can access within this block only. Outside this block, the X is not available. So it is perfectly fine now. So you can have the A as well as the X here. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But inside the block, you can access here A. Okay, because what is the low block of this A? It is a whole block. So it means that in a whole statements, in a whole block, the A is accessible. So I can access A here. So I'm doing here A is equal to 10. So it is perfectly fine here. Okay, so in this block, actually, this is the inner block. In the inner block, this A is available. So it is, you will get X is 5 and you have modified A as a 10. So you will get A as a 10 here. Getting? So in inner block, this variable is available, but to the outer block, the inner variable is not available to outer block. Getting?
Yes, sir.
So remember that scope is local to the block in which the variable is defined. The next one is the, what is the life of the variable? What is life of variable? Life of variable means, suppose I have created one variable here. Okay, I have created one variable and t is equal to, suppose 30. T is equal to 30, and here I'm calling the display function. I'm calling this function. Tell me, when this t get created? When the
When it
function
is
get
called.
called. When it is function get called. When the function get called, t get created, t is assigned to 30. Function over. So what happened with this t?
It will vanish there only, sir.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is get destroyed. It is get destroyed because that function is no more exist. The display is no more exist because it finishes its work. So t get destroyed there. So can you tell me what is life? Life
until the block is terminated.
until your program control executing that particular function. Okay, if your program, if your CPU is executing this display function, t is there. If the display is over, t is over. Getting? So
Yes, sir.
life is the till the control remains within the block in which variable is defined. Okay, so in that block, actually, if the control is there, the t is there. If control is over, program control over, if the program control go to the main function, t is no more. There's the life. And when it bonds, so death means function over, t is death. When the t born, when the function get called, t is born. This is the life of your automatic variables. So getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is your automatic storage class. It is very simple. No need to create, no need to give here auto. Auto writing is a not compulsory. It is not mandatory here. You can write or you cannot write. It is still automatic variable. Okay. Now second one is the register storage class. Okay, so we'll see that register storage class with the same thing. First one is your storage. So first we'll see how to create register storage class. Register storage class can be created by declaring the register in front of any variable. If you create a variable and in front of that variable, instead of auto, if you are giving at register there, then the storage class of that variable become a register. Now what is the meaning of having the register storage class? The only change is that the storage is CPU register. Now you know that your microprocessor, have you learned that 8085 or 8051? That microprocessor microcontroller is having its own set of the registers. Register A, accumulator, register B. Then after that R0, R1, R2, R3, like that. Every microprocessor or microcontroller is having their own CPU registers. Why CPU register is there? Because it is very near to your CPU. The CPU can access that register very frequently. Okay, so if there is a variable and if you need that variable very frequently, then instead of putting that variable into your RAM memory, put your variable into your CPU register. Getting? Because CPU register is very close to your CPU, and if it is very close to your CPU, to read and write to that memory, it requires very less time, because and RAM memory is a very far from your CPU. So that's why to write into the RAM memory, to read from the RAM memory, it requires some time. So if you want to execute your program fasterly, then whatever your frequently required variables, put that variables or declare that variable as a register variables. Getting? Just like your cache memory. Do you know what is the meaning? What is the use of cache memory in your computer? Or what is cache memory? Do you know?
No, sir.
When you go to buy any laptop, actually, they mention this CPU is having the 2 MB of cache memory. This CPU is having the 4 MB of cache memory, 16 MB of cache memory. The cache memory is more, your price is more. So what do you mean by that cache memory? Actually, cache memory is nothing but it is a memory very near to your CPU, and whatever the data, frequent data required to execute in that CPU, it bring to the cache memory. What the operating system is doing, suppose one data is there, I require that data very frequently. So instead of putting that data into your RAM memory, what your operating system is doing, copy that data from RAM memory to your cache memory. So cache memory is very near to your CPU, so execution is very near. Getting? Take the example of the library. Suppose you need to read a book. Okay, you need to read a book here, and that library is very far from your home. And what is your general practice? That is, you read one page. You read one page only. Okay, for one page, and you again put that book into your book stack. If your book is in a library, what if you want to read that book, you need to go there to the library, you read that book, you again come back to home. Again, suppose you want to read the second book, again you go back to the library, read the second one, read the second page, again come back to your home. But the book is there in your library. Third page you have to read, go back to your library, read the third page, again come to your home. So it requires time. What is the overhead here? Going to the library and coming from your library to your home. This is the overhead. In that traveling, actually you are not doing anything. So what is the best way? What you are doing?
Keeping the book in
A book
home.
for
So
a
what you
particular.
are doing? You go to the library, you issue that book. You issue the book from the library for the 15 days, and that book, now you come coming to that your home. And generally, what if you want to read the first book, if you want to read the first page, open the book, read the first page, read second page, read the second page, want to read third page, just read the third page. Now here, what is overhead? There is no overhead here, because your book is at your home. It is very similar like here. Instead of putting your data into your RAM memory, you are putting your data, frequently needed data, you are putting into your
CPU.
CPU register. CPU register. Generally, it is in a cache memory. If the data is very large data, you are putting that data into cache memory. And CPU register is again very near to CPU than your cache memory. Okay. So CPU is very near to CPU register. Then second one is your cache memory, and third one is your RAM memory, and fourth one is your secondary memory, that is your hard disk. Okay, so it is related to your what is the amount of time required to read and write data. Okay, CPU register required can be accessed very easily, require very less time. Cache memory requires some more time. RAM memory require again some more time. Hard disk require again more time. Getting? It's a very faster one. So now when we do this, when we declare this A as a register, suppose we require the data as a frequently. Suppose I want to access A variable very frequently. Suppose it started with the A 1 and A less than or equal to suppose 1 lakh. So I plus plus, not I plus plus, A plus plus, and just I am printing this data, percentage D comma A. Now tell me how many time I want to access this A. 1 lakh time. It is 10 lakh time.
Yeah.
10 lakh time. I want to access the A 10 lakhs time frequently. I require frequent access of A. So instead of putting this A into RAM memory, I'm putting this A into your CPU register. So your program become faster. Getting?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your storage, CPU storage. The next one is, I think, default initial value. default initial value. Now the remaining all things are very similar like your automatic, so I'm copy paste here because only the storage is different of this CPU register storage class, but the remaining is the very same. The default initial value is garbage value, scope is local to the block in which the variable is defined, and the local life is till the program control remain within the block in which variable is defined. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now declaring the variable as a register doesn't guarantee that the A is going to store into the CPU register. Okay, it doesn't guarantee. We cannot guarantee that A is always stored into a CPU register. If the CPU register is available, then only it will get stored into CPU register. Otherwise, it is stored into your RAM memory. Getting it is clear? It is stored in your stack memory. It is very similar like your automatic variable there. Okay. So if CPU, because CPU registers are very limited registers. Just take an example of the 8085. So how many registers are available for 8085? Accumulator register B,
register B.
BC register pair, then DE register pair, and the HL register pair. Only 7 registers are there. So if that out of that 7 register, if it is not available, if it is already been busy for storing the other data, then the storage of this A is not a CPU register, it is the stack memory. Getting? So we
Yes,
can
sir.
say that CPU register, and if not available, label, then stack memory. Okay, if it is not available, then your stack memory. So getting?
Yes, sir.
Very simple. Now third one is your static memory, static storage class. Static storage class. Now to declare the static variables, okay, but before starting the static, you just tell me what is the output of this program. Integer I equal to 1, printf %d or I equal to %d comma I, and it is /n I'm given here, and then after that I'm doing the I++, and I'm calling this function. I'm calling the function. Tell me what is the output now.
I is equal to 1.
I is equal to 1 and
Yes, perfectly. I equal to 1. Okay, I equal to 1. The second times I'm calling it. I'm calling 2 times. So what is the output?
again I is equal to 1, sir.
1 1.
First I equal to 1, second time also I equal to 1. So 2
Second
times
time
what?
also I equal to 1.
Okay, I equal to 1, I equal to 1. Perfectly fine. Why? Because why we have done the I++, but this, why it is not incremented? Because it is local. It is a local variable and it is an automatic variable. Okay, the kind of the variable is the automatic. It is created, printed, I++ increment, but it is destroyed. Got it? So the I of increment, first increment call is different. The I of second increment call is different, because the local variable I of first call is different. The local variable I of the second function call is different. Getting? If I'm calling it again, so what happened? The new memory get allocated. Every time the new memory get allocated, and you are getting the same output, I equal to 1, I equal to 1, because every time this I is get created, because it is automatic variable. Okay, so yes.
Suppose that printf statement, if it's after I++, then it'll get incremented, no?
Then it will get incremented.
Yes, it is 2. It is always 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay.
No, so I is equal to 1,
Hmm.
then I++,
Hmm.
and then printf. So
Like na? So it is
yeah.
answer is 2, 2, 2, 2.
2, always 2.
Always 2. Okay. Because after incrementing you are printing. In our case, it is I equal to 111. Okay. Now I'm changing the the storage class of this variable now, and just look at the magic here. The data, but first the storage class is automatic. Now I have changed the storage class as a static. If I've changed the storage class as a static, just look at what the magic is doing. The magic is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting? Now what happened here? Now in a first function call, the variable is created, but the variable is not created in your stack memory. What is the storage? Tell me, what is the storage of the static storage class? Yes? Data memory. Yes, data memory. Data memory is your shared memory, and it is not deleted. It is not deleted until your program get exited. If your program exit, then only it get deleted. So this I is not created in your stack memory. So after increment over, the stack memory get deleted, but the data is not, data memory is not deleted. So but I is already there. I is already created here, or it is already created in your data memory. So I is there. Your data memory is having I with the value 1. 1 get printed, and then that value or that memory get incremented to 2. Okay, so I becomes 2. Now second increment function call. When second increment function call, again the same function call, but here the same function is trying to create the variable I, which is already available into your data memory, and data memory will not allow this. Data memory says that already you have created one variable, just use that variable. You know, it is not read write memory. You have to create once only. So I is created only once, but what is the previous value? So in a second function call, this statement is not executed. Second function call, from the second function call, this first statement is not going to execute because it is already created in a first function call. This execute only in a first function call. So what is the next statement? Printf I. So I value is 2. So 2 get printed and I becomes 3. Now next function call. Again next function call. It is now skip. Now printf I. So I is 3. So 3 get printed and I becomes 4. Again third function call, fourth function call. I becomes 4. I is 4. So I equal to 4 get printed. I becomes 5. Fifth function call. I equal to 5 get printed. I become 6. And you will again return here. Return 0. A function over, data memory is over. So when your function, all the program get terminated, your data memory deleted. But if you are in a main memory, if you are in a main function, all the static variable created for all the function will have the memory associated as a data memory there. And if it is a data memory, your value of that variable persists within the different function call. Getting? So
Yes,
getting
sir.
the difference between the static variable and automatic variable. Automatic variable is created for every function call, but static variable is created only once in a first function only. Okay, so just tell me what is the default initial value? Yeah, just check it. What is default initial value if I'm not initializing it? If I have not initialized it, then what is the default initial value? Start with the 0. Okay, it starts with 0. So what is default initial value?
0.
Is 0.
So
Because
then
data
what's,
memory.
so suppose global also initial value is 0, right?
Because
So
it is stored in data memory. The variable which is stored in data memory always having the default initial value as 0. I think I have already discussed this.
Yes, sir.
It is a cleared memory. Data memory is your cleared memory, and the stack memory is your read write memory. It is a general memory, or you can say that. Just take an example. I always give this example. The public toilet and your private toilet, your home toilet. Just take that example. I'm remembering this thing as this one. Just take a example of public toilet. Actually, in your city, actually the public toilet might be clean, but in our city, actually public toilet, all the things that is used by anyone. Okay, if it is used by anyone, then that memory is, or what is the condition of that public toilet? The public toilet is a very, very dirty. But in case of your private toilet, actually your toilet is a very clean because it is only used by you only. The same thing is happened. Stack memory is used by any function. It is general memory. Anyone can use the stack memory. So the default initial value is garbage. So there you will always get a garbage. But in case of your data memory is allocated to your program, and it is only allocated to your program. It is program related thing. So that's why it is a clean memory. Always default initial value is the 0, 1. Okay.
So my doubt was
Yes.
declare it as static int I is equal to 1.
Mm.
So suppose int I is equal to 1, we declare it as global.
Where? Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Global memory is the global storage class we are going to see here. Fourth one.
Okay, it's the same, right? We'll
No,
get
no,
the
it
same.
is not same. It is not same.
Okay.
Okay. Declaring the static is different. Declaring the global is different. Now, what is difference? We will see in your scope and life. The scope and life of static and global are both are different. Now, what is scope? Tell me. Can I access this I in main function? Can I access I in main function? If I'm trying to print this I in the main function, is it possible? If you're running the program, it is giving error. So what is scope?
Local to the block in which it's
in which
defined.
it is defined. Okay. Now what is life? What is life? Life
Set.
is,
Till control remains within the block.
no. Control remains within the block means if the increment function is over, the variable get destroyed. Is it destroyed?
No.
The value of that I get persist within a different function calls. Until you call that function, the value is there. And when your program get over, that variable get destroyed there. So life, you
The
can see that
program is finished.
value of variable persist within the different function calls or until programs ends. Okay, until your program ends, your variable is there. If your program ends, your variable get destroyed. If your program is still executing, your variable is there. But you can only access that static variable by calling that function only. You cannot use that variable into your main function. Getting the static storage class?
Yes, sir.
Now the fourth one, very important one, is your global storage class. Global, or also known as a external storage class. External storage class. Now first tell me what is the storage of the external storage class. External variable means you declared that variable here, integer a is equal, or integer a, simply integer a. Okay, so integer a, if you declare that variable outside any function, then that way the storage class of that variable is your external or the global. What is the storage?
Data memory.
Data memory. Yes, very simple. If it is a data memory, what is the default initial value?
0.
Initial value is 0. Okay, and next one is scope. What is scope? Scope means can this main function access the a? Can this main function access a? Percentage d, a is equal to percentage d comma a. Can a main function access? Can this
No, sir.
increment function access?
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Can access.
It can access.
We can access main function. Main can also access the A also, as well as if you call the increment again, if you call increment function can also still able to access the A is equal A here. So it means that what is scope here? Scope is global. Anyone can access. Scope is global. Anyone can access.
Sir, but if you declare that A within the function within the int main, that time it will not access, no, sir.
Yes. If you declare the A variable here itself, suppose A equal to 3 and here A is equal to 10. And if you are printing here, what is the result here? A is 3. A is 3. A is 3 here, but main increment is accessing the global A. Okay. Because if the same variable, the same local variable is available, having the same name as that of your global one, the local variable is also giving the priority. Local variable also given the priority. Getting? Okay. So you cannot access the global variable here. So what is scope? Scope is
It can be accessed by
anyone. So its scope is global. We can directly write. Anyone can access. Scope is global. And what is life?
Until
program gets
program
completely executed.
So,
Yeah, until your program is executing, the variable is there. If your program is exit, then your variable get destroyed. So you can say right here, as long as the program
ends.
execution
Ends.
doesn't comes to end. Okay, until your programmed execution doesn't comes to end, your life is there. If the program execution ends, then your life is no more, your variable is no more. So getting this all the 4 storage classes, very important one, very important. Okay.
Sir, so life of static storage and global storage is same, no, sir?
Life of static storage and the global is same.
Okay.
Because it is stored in data memory, that's why it is same. But its scope is different. Scope is different. Global can be accessed anywhere, any function can access, but the static only access by the variable in which the variable is defined. Now you can create the global variable as a static also. You can create the global variable as static. So there is no difference. There is no difference of creating the global variable as static, because here the data memory same. Okay, default initial value same. Now what is scope? Scope of the static is local to the block in which variable is defined. Now there is no block defined for the static variable. So if no block is defined, it means that it is global. So it means that static int a equal to 10 is nothing but your global variable now. Getting?
Anything which is declared outside the function.
Anything declared outside as a global one. Here also, you declared your increment function as a global, so it is a global declaration. If you declare that increment function inside the main function, it is known as a local declaration. So main will only know that here, what is increment.
So what if we declare register there, sir?
Where?
Register int a is equal to 10.
Outside.
Still it is globally declared, no, sir?
So it's globally declared, but here it will give illegal storage class on a file scope because of this one. Yes, it should have the block. Life is
Within the
what
block.
is life? It should have a block. So it means that automatic and the register should be declared inside the block only, inside the block. So outside the block, if you create, then it will give error here. Getting? So one error is generated, illegal storage class on file flip variable. Okay. Just if any combination comes in your mind, just try to write the program, just try to execute it. You will get your solution. Okay. Okay, one more thing I need to tell you here. Okay. There is one keyword is there, extern keyword. Extern keyword. Now what is this extern keyword? The extern keyword is nothing but here extern is okay. What is the meaning of this extern int a? Sometimes this global variable is declared as an extern with the keyword extern. The meaning of this is that a is not declared into this file. A is not declared into the file. A is available in a other file. Okay, but we can do this only if your project is having more than one files. Generally what we are doing, all the functions and main function we are writing into the same file. But if you go into the industry, actually this procedure will not be followed. Main is only main function in a one file only contains main function. Second file contains the second function. Third file contains the third function. Fourth file contains the fourth function. For every function there is separate files is there. So if in one of your file, if A is declared, if one of your file is A is declared, and now you want to reuse that same A in your main function, so then you need to declare that A as an extern. The meaning is that A is already been declared by some other file. No need to declare it again. Getting? So only one A is available for whole program. Okay. So extern int A means variable A declared in other C file. Other C file. If it other C file, you declare in other C file, and if you want to access in this file, then you need to use the extern int A. Yes, getting? If there are two files are there, if from the one file you want to access the variable in another file, then on another file declare that A variable as an external one. Okay, and whatever the value of that A in the other file, you will get access here. Suppose in other file A is declared as 10, so you will get value of A is equal to 10 here. Okay. Okay, so here it will give error. Why error? Because A we are not declared in any other file. If it is not declared in any other file, it is saying that A is on difference. A is not reference. I not getting A in other file. If I not getting A in other file, the compiler gives error here. Getting?
So
So
file is nothing but other than this completely, we should open another program, no, sir.
yeah, in other program actually, but we can't do this in your Sublime Text. We need to create one project there. We need to create one project. In that project actually there are the different objects files are there, C files are there, and we are compiling that C files separately.
Okay.
And then after that we are attaching to each other by using assembler. So at that assembly point, this A will be get resolved. But we can't do this in your Sublime Text. You can do in your Microsoft Visual Studio. Microsoft Visual Studio we can do there, because we can do, to create any file we have to create the project first, create a project, then create a file. Just like Eclipse, if you have used Eclipse, in Eclipse again we have to create a project first, then file. Getting? So just remember here, if your variable is present in other file and if you want to access the same variable in this file, declare that variable as an external one. Okay, and if you're not declaring as an external, then it is still possible to access this A by the both variables, both the function main as well as increment. Okay.
So I have a doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, so that time you explain one program, no sir, increment program where you put I++.
Static what?
Yeah, static. So in that, it got incremented. I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2.
Okay.
So the same thing, instead of putting static int a is equal to 1,
Hmm.
if we declare it as global int a is equal to 1 also, I'm getting the same output.
Yeah, you are getting same output, but the scope is different.
Okay, but there's no difference then. So
Yeah,
static
you will
int
get
is
output 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
yeah,
And what you have done, you put this as a
global. I took out the static, I just put int a is equal to 1. Only
both
int a
output same.
without static, so it's like the same
Yes,
thing.
yes, without static. Yeah, static int A and int A is both are same. Okay, getting the same output. Yes.
Sir.
Okay. Now here I'm adding one program here. Oh, one statement I'm adding here. Now, can I execute this program? There is no error. I can still able to access the value of A here. Okay. Now what I'm doing, I'm putting this into your increment and I'm making as a static. Now tell me, can I able to access A here? You will get error. Hello.
Yeah, sir.
Actually, my internet connection goes down there. Okay. So the difference, got the difference actually. If you declare your variable that int A is equal to 1 outside, this program is perfectly fine. This program is perfectly fine. Okay. Just if you declare remove the static, it is also fine. Okay. But instead of that, if you declare that A as inside the increment, then you will get an error at this point. So it means that this A is only accessible for the increment. Okay. So the what is the difference between static and global? This one. Scope. So static, local to the block in which variable is defined. Global, anyone can access it. Global. Getting?
Yes,
Though
sir.
you are getting the same output, but we can
Right.
differentiate by using the scope. Okay, any other doubts? No? Okay, so tell me, what is this storage class of B?
Global, sir.
Global.
Storage class of B is global. Yes, correct? Okay. Now it means that now the B can be accessed by any other file.
Yes, sir.
Possible? If I have created one more file, suppose here the 1.c, okay, and I want to access this B in that 1.c, is it possible? Yeah, we can possible, but both should be in the same, both should be in your same project. If it is in the same project, then we can able to access the B which is declared in your data types.c into the 1.c. It is possible. Okay.
Okay.
But one question I have, this question, the question that I'm going to ask you, this question I have been asked in the for the company Microsoft. Okay, I appeared for the interview for the Microsoft, and this question is asked, and this question is not available in any of the book, any of any book. Let us see Balaguru Sobi or any book. This question is not available in any one of book. Only it is available in your Dennis Ritchie book. So, and what is the question? The question is, I don't want to give the access to the global variable to another file. How to achieve it? Okay. Now, if you are declaring your variable as a global variable, ready-made, this B can be accessed by the any other files. Okay, any other files can be accessed, easily access the B by declaring extern int B. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But he has asked me the question that I don't want to give the access of this B to the other file. So what is the way? Tell me how you can achieve this. I don't want to give the access here.
Can we give static int b is equal to 1?
Yes. Simply, if you are putting the static in front of global variable, the meaning is that now the scope of this variable, int b variable, is local to this file only. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Now the
Yeah.
scope becomes local to the file. Local to the file in which the variable is defined. So B cannot be accessed by the other files now.
Sir, but even int main cannot access B, no then?
No. Int may can be accessed. You can see here. B is equal to B. Because it is a local to the file and main is present in the file. We can access B equal to 1. Get it?
Okay, sir.
B can be even accessed by increment. B can be even accessed by any other function available into the same file only. So what is the scope of the static global? Now there is one more storage class is there, fifth one, which is invisible storage class. It is known as a static global storage class. The storage is data memory. Default initial value is 0. Scope is local to the file in which variable is defined. So we can define the fifth one, but that is our definition. It is not available in your book. It is the static global, but it is not external. It is static global storage class. Storage is data memory, default initial value, and now scope becomes it is local to the file in which variable is declared. In which variable is declared. Getting? And life is as long as the program execution doesn't comes to end. So that is the difference. Okay, which is very, very important. None of the book will give this knowledge to you. Okay.
So int b is equal to 1,
Hmm.
like that is considered as global, right?
Yes. Int b equal to 1, it is global.
Yeah, so if we give extern int b is equal to 1, like both the statements are same.
But int b equal to 1, it means that it is a declaration plus definition. Here the memory is allocated. Here the memory for b is allocated. Okay, memory for b is allocated. But if you declare any variable as an extern int, suppose c variable, then here memory is not allocated. Memory is not allocated because C is externally defined. C is already have the memory allocated. Okay. So because C has already memory allocated by other file, in other file, not by other file, in other file. So getting?
So both the
Different
statements,
No, both statements are not same.
okay, both the statements can access other files.
Yeah. In this one, actually C can be accessed by other. It is not, it is just a declaration that I want to use C. Because if C is present in other file and if you are directly using this statement, C is equal to C, and if you are not declaring this extern, then you will get an error. You will get error that undeclared identifier C. Okay. But to remove this, you have to declare C as the extern. But extern should be present in other file. If extern is present in other file, then you will not get any type of error there.
Okay.
Get it? But in case of int b is equal to 1, now the memory is allocated in this file itself. You can directly use it, b equal to 1. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, any other doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, so
Sir,
this,
yesterday, sir,
Hmm.
you told us to draw the stack for
Yeah,
Fibonacci series.
Fibonacci series. So have you, I'm waiting your answer on a group. Only Dipti has shared
Sir,
which
even I
one?
have tried, sir. Sir, is it like if first main function will be there,
Hmm.
then Fibo 5.
Yes.
If we
Fib-
do that, we'll get Fibo 4 plus Fibo 3.
Hmm. So Fibo
So-
4 will be called first.
Fibo 4 has to be called first.
Yeah, Fibo 4 plus Fibo 3. And it will push Fibo 3, no sir, instead of 4 next.
Fibo 4 will be called Fibo 3. Fibo 3 will be called Fibo 2. Fibo 2
Fibo 2
will
will
be
call
Fibo
Fibo
2.
1.
Fibo 2 will be called Fibo 1, and then it returns. So all the Fibo 1, Fibo 2, Fibo 3, and I think Fibo 4 is also get removed. No. Fibo 1 will be written 1. So Fibo 2. But the Fibo 2 I think has to be called one more function, that is Fibo of 0.
Yeah, sir.
So Fibo of 0 is again called.
Sir, once you explain it through stack, sir.
Yeah, I will explain it. So what I do, I will draw the whole stack again, and I will share with you. Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I think whatever the theory we have covered, I have shared you on your WhatsApp group again. Now today's topic, actually today on storage classes there is no such a programs are there. Only some aptitude questions are there. Now today's assignment is just try the more examples on recursions. Okay, more examples on recursion. You have to try it. The next topic, tomorrow topic is the array. We start with the array.
Sir.
Now what are the points remaining? Just we will list out. First one is array. Second is the string, array string, and I think
Pointer arithmetic, sir.
yeah, we'll take in your array and string. All the actually array and string without pointer we can't do. Array pointer arithmetic we can't. We have to do in your array itself. Array string main point. I'm talking on main points. Array strings, and what is remaining? In array, actually, one dimensional array, two dimensional array, all comes. Yeah, files. Yes, files. Yeah, this three. One more point before files. Start with the file. One more very important topic: structure. Structure is remaining. So we'll go with the some basics of structure. In the structure, we'll also talk about the union. Also talk about the enumeration enum. Okay, so these are the remaining. And
So what about malloc?
Yes. That I am doing in your array. So
Okay.
here it is dynamic allocation. Dynamic allocation. One more point is remaining, and that is, I think, command line argument. Arguments. Okay, so just note down this all the points, and if any is remaining, then just tell me this is remaining, and I'm so I think I will plan this cover on, suppose today is Thursday, today is Wednesday, huh? So array will be covered in Thursday. Dynamic allocation and pointers arithmetic is covered in Friday. String we're starting with the in Saturday. Okay, Sunday is a holiday. And structure union enum we will cover in your Monday. Command line argument and files require only one day, that is Tuesday. Okay, so up to Tuesday I think we should complete the whole syllabus of your C language.
So one day is enough, sir, for each topic.
Yeah, 1 day is enough for each topic. Because these are the advanced topics now. Okay, for covering the advanced topic, you require the less time. But
Yes, sir.
to explain the basics topic, because you already have been going through all the data types, and then now the storage classes. Now I require very less time to explain the thing. That is structure. What is structure? Structure is the collection of dissimilar data item. Now, what are the things that I need to do? How to create the structure, how to access the structure member. Now, what is the dynamic allocation of the structure? I need to only give you the ways to create that, all the points. That in files, actually, how to create a file, how to open a file, how to read a file, how to write into the file. That is the only things, only some examples.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, on this array and string, there are the more practices you need. Array and string, you require more practices.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just note down this timetable. And suppose meanwhile, suppose if we miss 1 or 2 due to internet connectivity or any power loss, then it is get extended.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And what about your college? Is college started?
No, sir.
College is not
Sir,
started.
as of now, we don't have college.
No college, no online lectures.
Sir, actually, they might start it from next month. They're not sure, sir. It's all tentative as of now.
And your result?
Result we are going to get next week, sir.
Next week only. Okay, that's why they have not started the lectures. Okay. So no problem. But again, try at your best for your C language. If you study the C language very thoroughly, then easily you can get into any language. Easily. C++ you require hardly 10 days only. Java you require only 10 days. Python you require only 10 to 15 days only to cover this. So C language is a very, very base language. If this base is very clear, then you can easily get into. But do not leave this C language up to your final year.
Yes, sir.
Just get in touch with this C language. For
Yes,
every, just make a one group. I think club. Make a C language club, and for every week, just have a meetup. And in that meetups, actually, one of you has been taught to others 1 point for revision,
Okay, sir.
and some aptitude examination you just conduct into that group only. Okay, so that is the thing that I have tried in my college when I am professor of one of the engineering college. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so and after this, in case of suppose I'm going to start the Python batch in the mid of your August. If you wanted to join the Python, then you can able to join directly. No need to give no need to go into the C++. I think you should stick to a single language only. That single language should be very thoroughly. Python is for your career point of view, because most of the companies require the Python programmers. So for career point of view, Python is very good, but for basic understanding for freshers, C language, everyone should know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm ending the meeting now. Yeah, so any doubts again?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.